Hello, happy afternoon. It is 2 o'clock right now and my kids are asleep. It is reset time, as I call it, and I am resetting myself, and I figured I would finally be able to record a kind of behind the scenes, real talk, filling you in type video, because there has been a lot going on besides this devotional that I am releasing. And the main big thing that's been going on that some of you may know, some of you don't, is that I am actually pregnant again with our rainbow baby since losing our last one, and I am already 19 weeks along, so we're almost halfway through, and that's just like kind of shocking. It has been really a wild ride, if that's an appropriate way of putting it, because physically it has been my, dare I say, my hardest pregnancy by far. I have never had such fatigue ever. And you know, it could be that I have 2 kids 17 months apart that are like, my oldest literally just turned 3 a few weeks ago. So it could be that, you know, they keep me on my toes. They're very, very busy girls. But it also could just be the fact that I think, if I'm, you know, being honest, like, I physically feel my body just kind of running on empty. Like, I have felt depleted just across the board. And I don't want to sound negative. I'm wanting to be honest with you and talk to you like I would if we were face to face and you were asking me, how have you been? What's been going on? And this is what it's been. Like, I remember when I first was kind of telling people that I was pregnant, I just kept saying, like, at least I know, because my symptoms are so strong, that there's a baby in there and that they are most likely growing, because it's intense. And I have like migraines and I get insane nausea, and it's every single morning and every single night and little random moments throughout the day. And I'm not one to like have a little snippet of nausea, have this violent throwing up session, and then I feel better, which I'm not saying that's better, but I know people who, like, when they were pregnant, if they got nauseous, they could throw up and it would make them feel better, because you get relief, you know, like, okay, it's over. And for me, I'm just not that way. I've had bouts of that with previous pregnancies where, like, I had random, you know, sessions of just like horrible vomiting, but even then, I never got like relief that people talk about. And for me now, it's just like this yucky, queasy, nauseous feeling, and it just doesn't go away. But I really am so grateful to simply be pregnant. I am potentially treating this one like it could be my last. I really don't know. I go back and forth when I really think about it, but the big thing that I always kind of come back to is, I'm just like, okay, well, I want to be like the best mom and wife that I can be for the people in front of me. And I know it's really not a long time, but 9 months when you feel like crap and when you're really not showing up feeling like yourself or being your best self even, that's a long time for the people in your life. And my husband doesn't complain. I don't think my kids notice that much, but I do, you know, if that makes sense. And so, like, those are my main roles. Like, yes, I love coming on here. I'm so glad to be back. I'm so glad to be working on my writing projects again, and my devotional, I Am Who He Says I Am, which is a devotional about helping you reclaim your God-given identity. And it's been so encouraging for me, but part of like what I wanted to share is just how incredibly weak of an individual I am, so that you kind of know, like, I'm not coming out here back online sharing this devotional as someone who has it together and who's like cruising through life, really knowing like these verses that I've written in there by heart myself, or like I'm just, no, like I have not arrived. I do not know a lot of these verses by heart yet myself. I'm challenging myself to learn them. But in truth, like the reason why God put it on my heart to do it now and to share it now is because, like I hinted to in a previous video, like he was reminding me, like, don't let this message die for yourself and don't let it die for other people, because he put it on my heart about 2.5 years ago, and I've worked on it at various points throughout that time, but I really just kind of didn't think I was going to do anything with it. And I will tell you, this pregnancy, this past season, like I found myself in a vulnerable spot because I wasn't really doing a lot of the things that keep me grounded and keep me and keep me connected to my source of life, of joy, of peace, of comfort, of, energy, literally. And so it's like I wasn't really able to wake up early and kind of do the things that like are just game changers as stay-at-home moms. Like for me, getting up early and being able to get myself going and feed me before I'm like pouring out all day long has just been an incredible practice for myself. But in like really, it's only been like the last 1.5 months where I've been able to kind of start doing that again. But I, previously would read my Bible and I'd get time writing to God, and writing has always been a thing where that just helps me feel so connected to him. That's a gift that he's given me, and that's just a way where my thoughts and my words flow so easily through writing. And so I have like multiple prayer journals filled, and I just love being able to fill the pages with conversation with him. And I wasn't doing that. I wasn't really able to get a ton of actual Bible reading time in because it's hard to do that once your kids are awake. And at least with the same focus that I want, and then working out, like I just felt so gross. I was like, I cannot. And that's just the blunt truth. Like which is ironic because I've always been one of those people who, like, growing up, I just romanticized pregnancy. Like I thought it was so beautiful, so cool. Like the whole concept of getting to be a part of creating life and growing life and delivering life, and then being their source of comfort, of food, of nurture. Like it's just like it's this crazy thing when you actually stop and think about it. But yeah, like I don't feel myself physically. Nothing was fitting right. So I'm just like, sensory wise, style wise, personality wise, I'm like, who is this, And I had no energy, had no like, yeah. And then my skin was breaking out like crazy, and I was just like, what is going on? And then I started getting larger a lot quicker because this is technically my 4th pregnancy. And emotionally, I think I've really struggled emotionally, mentally, because my hormones are going nuts. I lost my last baby in the first week of June, and I got pregnant mid-August. And it's like, it's again such a blessing, but I feel like physically that's a lot. Like it's I feel it. Like I feel myself not feeling like me, if that makes sense. Everything has felt so much heavier and more intense, and my emotions at times just feel like very dysregulated. Like things overwhelm me so much more. My fuse is so much smaller and my energy is so much smaller, and I'm more sensitive. And it's like, I'm not like very emotional in like the crying sense when I'm pregnant. I've never been that way, but this particular pregnancy I have felt very much more just emotionally and mentally fragile, and I feel like my self-talk and my thought life and my proneness to want to rely on what I can be doing and then being constantly disappointed with my lack of outcome that I want was just like it's a terrible spiral. And so he kind of reminded me of the devotional for like various reasons, but I think it was just like, hey, like, you need to, at the very minimum level, like, you need to get back to your source of where everything flows from, which is me, you know, him. And so it's been so encouraging and honestly very, very humbling and convicting. And again, I wanted to share this with you guys, to share with you, like, this is real life. I'm a real person. I'm never gonna come on here and act like I'm something I'm not, or act like I have it together and like I am more knowledgeable about life, motherhood, womanhood, and the Bible than anyone else. Now, I will say God has given me this great blessing and gift and privilege to be able to hear messages that he's sharing with me, and each time he does that, it's for other people. But he always gives me messages to share with other people from my own need. And so I'm just sharing this with you because it's like I'm going with you alongside this. Once this book releases and you get to read it yourself, like, just know I'm going through it alongside you. And you can start that process. I actually have a free excerpt where I go through a little snippet in kind of the section of the book where I talk about why God is a trustworthy source of our identity, and I share the literal names of God in the Bible and what they mean and how they are encouraging and impactful for us as believers. And it's good sometimes to, like, even in the topic of identity, I think especially like in this season of my life, to just really continually check myself and be like, it's not about me, it's not about what I can do and what I'm not doing, what I can't do. It's about, like, God, and how am I relying on him and how am I reflecting him. And like, at the core of that, I have to know who he is to do that well. And so yeah, that is kind of just a little snippet of what has been going on, because there's also been a lot of things behind the scenes too. Like I was sharing, we were going through a big decision process, and we've kind of come to terms with that, but there's still just a lot kind of up in the air right now in regards to ministry and church. And we know we'll be here for at least the end of our lease, and hopefully we'll be able to buy after that, and that's really exciting. But we still have like a year, so there's still a lot of things to figure out to, like, make this next year best. And we want to steward, like, our skills best and our gifts, spiritually speaking, for the sake of others, but we also want to make sure we're being fed well ourselves, and that we're surrounding ourselves, you know, intentionally with the right things and the right people and all of that jazz. So there's been a lot of that behind the scenes. Financially, there's been a lot of conversations, and so it's just really been this season where I feel like I'm having to just really constantly be humbled in my reliance on God. And I feel like that's been a continual lesson that he's had as, like, the theme of my 20s is, you need to rely on me. Because every single time that I find myself trying to rely on myself, it's just bad. But I mean, for the most part, like, we do rely on him really well. I think there's so many layers to that. There's so many factors when it comes to the big stuff, but also the small. And so I found that within, like, the small things that I'm like, oh, I didn't give that over to you because I didn't think it was something I needed to rely on you yet. You know, it wasn't tested. And I feel like this pregnancy has tested those small things that actually have a big impact in whether or not you do rely on him or not. So yeah, but overall I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm getting more windows of time without the intense nausea, and getting more, like, spans of energy. So like previously when they would go down for a nap, I just needed to rest, and it was like physically that was what I needed, but mentally that killed me, because I was like, that is my most productive time. It is my only me time in the entire 24 hours besides my sleep, and I really felt the loss of that. So now having that back has been really, really great. And we're very excited, we're very grateful. The girls are constantly rubbing my belly and just like really excited, you know, so that's been really fun. But I just wanted to give you guys a little update as to what's been going on. And yeah, I'm going to kind of get into some of this. So I went thrift shopping earlier with the girls, which was absolute chaos. I don't really recommend going casual shopping with kids, but I you know, every now and then I'm like, I want to bring them with me. I want to do these outings. Number one, because I can't go by myself, but also two, because I'm like, I want them to do the things that I enjoy with me. But my stroller's in my van, which is parked somewhere else because it broke, and so we're in a loaner car, a gifted car actually, which is a whole other story of God's goodness. But needless to say, I don't have my stroller, so I'm just a literal wagon with no seatbelts or anything. My unconfined children just like went nuts in the thrift store. But I wanted to show you some little finds that I got. I got a Perry Como Christmas album. I got the Polar Express, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Charlie Brown Christmas. These are all like, it sounds silly to pay for these, but we don't have any streaming stuff besides Prime, which is, we're munching off my parents with that. And a lot of these, like, you still have to pay for. I think the Polar Express is included, I don't know, but it's just nice to have DVDs. And then a little Hungry Caterpillar book. And I got some cookie molds, which I'm actually hoping to use for DIY ornaments with like salt dough or air dry clay. I haven't decided yet. I was gonna do that now, but if I'm being totally honest, I really don't feel like doing that right now. And then I went to Aldi and I got some regular groceries, but I got a bunch of oranges and apples to dehydrate as well for ornaments, because I had a huge like bag of dried oranges that I had made as ornaments. I guess I've made a little bit more with each year, but I had made a huge batch like 2 years ago, and when I brought them out of our garage attic, they literally turned to dust. So that was just like wild to see to me. I did not know that they could do that. Just random little fact. But I also got these little bundt cake pans from, or it's a little silicone mold, I guess, from Aldi, and it was $4. So yeah, I'm gonna work on that and try to reset myself a little more, get some energy. I'm finally able to have like the tiniest bit of coffee now. I think I shared that. I think I did, yeah. But it's actually, it's really gross how I have to have it. I literally have to water down pot coffee. It's awful, but it's the only way I can tolerate it stomach-wise. And yeah, it's not a pleasurable experience in the way that I prefer coffee, because I only got into coffee after working at a coffee shop, actually, and I got into like macchiatos and lattes and all that. So very much I prefer espresso and just stronger flavor of everything. And yeah, but I'm happy. Like I'll take what I can get, you know? So those are all of my updates. I want to let you know I will definitely be sharing probably more motherhood and biblical lessons that I'm learning just as a woman. All of the more kind of casual videos that I was doing previously with a lot of spiritual little nuggets kind of in there like I used to do. But you know, if I'm being totally honest, there will also always be kind of a mix with my book stuff, because I don't know if you guys know this, I think I've hinted to it. I think I even started sharing about it when I first came onto YouTube, but God put it on my heart so clear that I would be writing books and sharing about Him from the time I was 15. And so that was part of why I first started like writing in prayer journals, is because it developed my relationship with Him first off, but it was kind of like this real clear tangible thing for me, where I knew God was like, every single lesson that I'm teaching you, everything that I'm allowing you to walk through, every little time that I answer a prayer for you or that I show up for you, you need to keep hold of this and keep track of this, because one day it's going to be put into a book. Now that particular book probably won't come out for a few years. I have multiple books in the queue beforehand that I've already started working on. Some of them are already done. But it's just a matter of logistics. And again, like, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I don't have a nanny. I don't have a ton of help in that sense. So it's not like I have a ton of time to really be working on those things in the manner that maybe I'd like to. But like at my core, I know that that is a huge ministry for me. And so it's this simultaneous thing of, I want to share the little lessons that God is teaching me through the mundane, living like I'm trying to help myself mentally and heart-wise, live like I'm in the garden with Him. And so I want to be in this posture of being able to kind of do things and see things and feel things like I have Jesus and God just literally with me tangibly, holding my hand through tantrums, through cleaning, through whatever it may be that is going on in my everyday life. And that was really kind of what I wanted to first share on here. But there's also some really big lessons as well too, that I'm putting into book format, and I'm just really excited to share with you all. And so those are all of my main points, really. That's pretty much all there is to know about my life, what you've missed since I first came on. Yeah, so that's that. And again, if you want to get a little bit of a sneak peek into this upcoming devotional, like I said, that excerpt is completely free for you to download. All you have to do is hit the link below and just put in your name and your email, and it will be directly sent to your device. And so yeah, I really believe that that will encourage you, just remembering who He is and learning a little bit more about the names of our God and why they have such power and impact for us. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss anything else. I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving week if I don't see you before then. And yeah, God bless.